Please read the disclaimer. Holy smokus, it ain't no jokus. The Trump up and down saga, flippity floppity of the crypto market continues. Trump went and gave a big speech on Davos about all kinds of things. The market reacted positively. XRP went all the way up to 195, but then news came out that flipped everything to the downside. Is it actually all part of the playbook that Kobeissi letter put out? Maybe. We'll talk about all that. Let's get into it. So currently XRP is sitting at $1.88, down minus 0.25% on the day. But as you can see, XRP went all the way up to 195. It gave us a 4% rally in about 4 hours and then took a dip right off of the resistance level of about 3.65 here for XRP. Bitcoin actually did something similar. It went all the way up to 90,000 and now went to 87,000. So Bitcoin actually is dipping right now to lower levels than what it saw yesterday when it closed the gap. Ethereum all the way down to 2,800. Solana at 126. So, out of the top four, XRP is back to the levels it was, last night. We're seeing where's my button for this? Roller coaster. Whoa. Continue in the crypto market. But is it all designed, right? So, let's take a listen a little bit to what Trump said, and then we'll try to analyze it. So we have here first, President Trump says the USA is the economic engine of the world. When America booms, the entire world is booming. And, the theory is that if America is going to be good, then everybody else is going to be good. I think this is a little bit, I know that most of you are Americans, but it is a little bit, self-centered. Yes, the US has a very big effect on what happens geopolitically and economically, but, it's only been for the last, 100 years that this is correct, maybe even less. So yes, this is high probability, but it's not 100%. President Trump said Congress is working on the crypto market structure bill and hopes to sign it soon. He also added that he's making sure that America remains the crypto capital of the world. So again, these are the things that push the crypto market up. And by the way, it's not just the crypto market. Stocks were going up, and then they pulled back as well on what was going on. You can see even the VIX. The VIX was tanking, and now it came back up. Off of the headline, which we'll get to in just a second. Don't worry about it, right? He also said, President Trump, that inflation has been defeated, right? I don't know. Do you think inflation has been defeated? Do you feel that inflation has stopped? I'm not talking about things that are gotten cheaper, right, in the US, because that is deflation. But has inflation started, right? Do you feel that the prices at the grocery is stopped, oil prices, insurance, cars, homes, all those things, as things that kind of leveled off? If yes, then we'll find out tomorrow, because tomorrow we do have the PCE index that is coming out. So this is the preferred inflation number, and GDP first revision and initial jobless claim. So tomorrow we're going to find out a lot of data on what is potentially going to happen here. Now, as is always, I don't know what the market is going to do. I did not know that it was going to fluctuate like this, although in just a second, you'll see that it's actually all by the plan, right? Of course, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. So what else did we have here from Davos? President Trump said the U.S. just said that the Dow Jones will hit 100,000 soon, and the 2,000 tariff stimulus checks are coming without congressional approval. And so, that when someone hears that, of course, that's those 3 or 4 things fueled that run up, right? But then suddenly we fell. What happened here? And Kobeissi is saying this is according to the Wednesday reversal we called for in step 7 of the playbook. We'll get to that in just a second. But the reason why I think that the market flipped was because Denmark's foreign minister rejected President Trump's demand to negotiate the U.S. takeover over Greenland. And when you have a situation like that, and you have pushback, and you have potential geopolitical tension, then what do the algos do? They don't care of this and that and this and that, right? They care about the algos. Once they see one thing that is negative, they flip their switch, they start going the opposite way, right? The algos are so smart. They're AI. They're developed. They know what's happening. They read the tweets. They're scraping Gemini. They're scraping all the AIs. They know what's going on. So as soon as that comes out, it's not retail that is doing this. It's the algos, and they kick into gear and they start selling off the market. But Kobeissi is saying here, right, that this is all per plan, right? So if we go to the Kobeissi plan, which we talked about yesterday or the day before, you can see that we have here on Monday or Tuesday, President Trump continues applying pressure publicly, but investors begin to recognize that tariffs are not yet live and are still scheduled to take effect weeks later, such as February 1st. By Wednesday, which is today, off the same week, dip buyers step in and spark a relief rally, which we saw this morning. But this move often fades and leads to another push lower. This is typically where smart money begins buying. On the following weekend, roughly 1 week later, President Trump posted discussions are underway and that he's working toward a solution with leaders in the country targeted by the tariffs. And then on Sunday evening, so this next week, right, the Sunday, futures opened sharply higher and optimism returns, but gains fade into Monday cash market open. After the Monday open, senior administration officials such as Treasury Secretary Bessent appear on live television to assure investors and emphasize progress toward the deal. Over the next 2 to 4 weeks, various members of Trump's administration continue to tease progress towards the trade agreement. A trade deal is announced, the market goes to records high. Repeat to step one. This is interesting. Of course, he says here that this time around, President Trump's plan to acquire Greenland is certainly a bigger ask than China merely scaling back some export controls. Therefore, the playbook may be more drawn out, but it still will follow a similar sequence of events. And it has. It's kind of crazy, right? And so that's what we're seeing right now. Listen, right now might be the time to just lay back and enjoy. Spend some time with the kids, spend some time with the family, go out, eat some good food, meet some people, not stress too much. Of course, continue to understand what's happening because it's important to know. Because when we know these things, when we learn these things, when we see how things are reacting, then we can, if we want, day trade, swing trade. But if we're more long-term investing and we're thinking in that mindset, then again, I've said this in the past, if you're a long-term investor, it doesn't matter if XRP is at 188 or 2.5 or 3 or 4 or 5, right? Of course, the numbers look better in your portfolio and you might feel a little bit more confident. But if you're not ready to depart from the asset, then it doesn't really matter if it's at 5, 10, 2, 1, 50 cents. Of course, in theory, it feels better. And yes, you can use that asset to do other things, right? So that is what you can do. That's for another video. But it will be very interesting to see how this plays out. Now, there is a Davos Trump speech summary here by Bull Theory. You can go follow him. I don't want to go into all of it because it's pretty long and we're already like 8 minutes in. But he talked about a lot of stuff about crypto, about monetary policy. And he says market structure regulation coming. Bill may be signed soon. Crypto is politically popular. China must be blocked. What does this mean? Crypto is no longer fringe. It is now a strategic infrastructure. The US wants to dominate here like energy and finance, right? And so when we go to that and we look at what Monica Long, the president of Binance, just said, right? And sorry, not the president of Binance. I was thinking about Binance because Binance just announced that they were going to list RLUSD and introduce a zero trading fee promotion for RLUSD. And not only Binance, but BitTrue also is going to be listing RLUSD. So they're Binance, of course, is the biggest exchange in the world. BitTrue is a little bit smaller. But this is both, big announcements here again for the Ripple stablecoin. And Monica says here, after one of crypto's most exciting years and Ripple's, the industry is entering its production era. In 2026, we'll see the institutionalization of crypto. I get a pat on my back. I think you should smash the like button just because I was able to pronounce that word. Trusted infrastructure and real utility will push banks, corporates, and providers from pilots to scale. Across stablecoins, on-chain assets, crypto custody, and broader institutional investment. A true inflection point for institutional adoption and the Internet of Value. With that, here are some of her top predictions for 2025. Stablecoins will be the foundation for global settlement, not an alternative rail. As Visa, Stripe, and major institutions hardwire them into payment flows, B2B is the growth engine, with corporates using digital dollars to unlock real-time liquidity and capital efficiency. Crypto is no longer speculative. It's becoming the operating layer for modern finance. By 2026, 50% of the Fortune 500 companies will have crypto exposure or formalized that strategies, actively holding tokenized assets, on-chain T-bills, stablecoins, and programmable financial instruments. Institutional access is also expanding through capital markets. Crypto ETFs are accelerating exposure, yet only represent a small share of the broader market, underscoring room for major growth. As adoption scales, collateral mobility will also become a top use case, with 5 to 10% of capital market settlement moving on-chain. Crypto mergers and acquisitions reflect market maturity, with 8.6 billion in deal volume in 2025, driven largely by Ripple, largely by institutions, and custody emerging as the next major consolidation driver as custody commoditizes, spurring vertical integration and multi-custodian strategies. 50% of the world's top 50 banks will formalize new custody relationships in 2026. So there's a lot to anticipate, a lot to hope for in the crypto market into 2026. Now, again, I know that the price action is not that sexy right now. It's nothing to tell your friends about. You can't what's the word? A showboat in front of them that your portfolio is doing so great. But if you are, and by the way, it's also terrible for day traders and swing traders because there's no true direction, right? It goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit. Like if someone was holding a short for a long time, for like the past 3-4 weeks, then yes, they made a nice profit. But that maybe was a swing trade. But intraday, it's very hard to catch, movements. The movements are like 2, 3, 4%. And yes, those can be profitable, but there's no like big movement here. There's no big moving candles for the most part. Of course, there's outliers. There's days that, we see, maybe a 4 or 5%, on Bitcoin, like we did a few days ago here where Bitcoin sold off 4%, which it was actually yesterday. So we have days like that, but for the most part, we've had like small days or we've had intraday movements that weren't that sexy. And so again, it's very frustrating, I know, but this is part of the journey. This is part of the game. We've seen this happen before. We'll probably see it happen again. I'm not freaking out about it. I've had these conversations with myself and with you because I'm talking to you, but it's conversations with myself to the camera, right? I've had these conversations before, so I'm not freaking out about this. I still have my plans in place. I still have my positions open, the small leverage positions, and we'll see where the market will potentially go here in the next coming hours and days. It's hard because Trump talked, right? And then the market started going up. And I already started seeing people releasing videos, optimistic videos and things like that. And then the market sold off, right? And you kind of put out this, right? What's it called? Sigh of not relief. It's a sigh of frustration, maybe. And it's really hard to make a video and say, oh, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. But I try to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly because I don't know what day to day is going to happen. I can try to predict. I can say, hey, these is 3 things can happen with this is the most likely probability, and that's the second, and that is third. But things change, things shift day to day. We don't know what's going to happen geopolitically. We don't know if some big whale is going to start suddenly selling. There's all kinds of factors when you're talking short term. Again, long term, I'm still very, very bullish on the crypto market. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash the like button. Let's try to get 2,000 likes on this video. I know you guys can do it. I have faith in you. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.